Alister MacKenzie golf course design. Alister was born in Yorkshire, England in 1870. He attended Cambridge University, got 4 different degrees in science. During this time, this is when Alister began to get into golf. He was a member of several different clubs, and one of which he was on the Greens Committee at Woodley. This is where he began to show his interest in designing courses. After college, Alister served in the Army for 2 different wars. He was a surgeon. But when he came back, this is when he decided that he did want to design golf courses, and he worked alongside Harry Colt and Charles Allison. Colt worked with MacKenzie on Al Woodley and other projects as well, but this is where people realized what Alister wanted to do with golf courses, but they thought that it was a little too far out there, and his ideas were a little crazy. He worked with this group for 4 years, but then began to design golf courses on his own. He designed a total of 78 golf courses, some of which on his own, others working with other architects between 1905 and 1934. The bulk of his golf courses are in the US and UK, and he has a few in Australia as well. He's got quite a few golf courses that are pretty highly regarded, 5 of which here in the US, and then 6 others on the world's greatest, so international courses. Here they are. The America golf courses, the big 2 are Augusta and Cypress. He also has Crystal Down, the Valley Club Montecito, and Pasatiempo. And then on the right you can see the golf courses, the international ones. All of these are Australian courses, with the exception of Lennox, I believe, which is in Ireland. But so again, he did most of his work in Australia and UK when it wasn't in the US. I've played a couple of his courses. Pasatiempo is the best one of his I've played in Santa Cruz. The other ones are Meadow Club, Green Hills, Sharp Park, and Hagen Oaks. The last 2 are pretty forgettable, but Meadow Club and Pasa and then Green Hills are pretty solid. Alister worked on these 13 principles of golf courses. A lot of these tactics are still used when designing golf courses today. The most notable of which would probably be that golf course is designed in 2 9-hole loops, kind of where you come back after 9 holes and then go out again for the back 9. In terms of the actual features of the golf course, here are some of his notable ones. Greens and fairways very undulating, which you can see at the Masters every year. Each hole has its own character. It's a new thing. It's not like back and forth, same hole. Approach shots are blind, a lot of bunker protection. There should be force carry off the tee, which you can see here in this picture, which is the 16th hole at Cypress Point. And then a player should need to use a variety of different shots, low flight, high flight, cut it, draw it, the whole bit. Then here's my opinion on the features. The ones I like, the 2 9-hole loop arrangement. I mean, everyone kind of likes that. You need to have that. The varying size par 4s and 5s is nice to have. You don't want to have a pitching wedge into every single par 4. It's nice to have different sized approach shots after you hit off the tee. Force carry off the tee, that's always a nice challenge. Forcing a golfer to use different shot shapes, different types of shots, that's always good. And then here's a big one. He promoted a little walk between the green and the next tee box, which is very useful. You don't want to have to walk a mile between 2 holes. And then each hole should have its own character, like I stated before. That's cool when each hole feels like a different thing, its own thing. And then designs I dislike. I don't necessarily dislike all these things, but with the blind approach shots, he says that the approach shot has to be a minimum of loop blind, meaning that almost all approach shots are blind. And that's kind of true for most of the courses I played of his, which gets old after a while, but I understand it. Undulating fairways and greens. I do like it, but when you play a course where the greens are super fast or fairways are super fast, it gets to the point where it almost becomes an impossible course to play. And then he also said there should be no hill climbing, which I I don't mind a approach shot or two where you go up a ways, but that's my opinion. And that is that for Alister MacKenzie.